Please join me in welcoming SCAD President and Founder, Paula Wallace.
SCAD Bees, you look so beautiful. Wow. Good morning and welcome to the 2017 SCAD Commencement Ceremony. I'd like to recognize and thank the esteemed SCAD faculty who daily illuminate subjects and professions with their diligence, intellect, and most importantly, their heart. Would the faculty representatives please stand? Thank you. Of course, we all know that the path to SCAD and to commencement is lit by the love and encouragement of parents, spouses, partners, and I see a lot of you, and siblings of our graduates. Would families and friends of the SCAD class of 2017 please stand? And to the graduating students here today, thank you for contributing your infinite gifts to SCAD, your ambition, your ingenuity, and your ideas, every flash of light in your brilliant minds. By now you've probably noticed a theme to this event. So much of the teaching and learning here involves two paths to mastery. Practice and repetition, I think you've been doing a lot of that, or insight and eureka, the aha moment, the light bulb moment. Well, today is one of those light bulb moments. It's positively glowing in here. What an occasion. SCAD graduates are bright lights in the world. You are the living embodiment of enlightenment. Your creativity, your knowledge, your specialized acumen, you are in possession of a preeminent education. While commonly commencement is viewed as the beginning of a career, that is light years from the truth at SCAD, because you began your careers the moment you entered SCAD, right? From my vantage point on this stage, I see rows upon rows of poised professionals who set your career sights many years ago when you chose SCAD and SCAD chose you. One of you even told me that you chose SCAD when you were 9 years old. Is that true? Yeah. In your years at SCAD, you have presented your ideas to executives at Procter & Gamble, L'Oreal, and HP. You've already landed leading roles at CBS and Netflix and earned top honors from the Industrial Designers Society of America, Red Dot, the Council of Fashion Designers of America, and the European Design Awards. All of this and more you have already done at SCAD. Amazing. The great honor of my life is sharing these defining moments with you. Light bulb moments, if you will. Your VR masterpiece, Say It With Music, at the Savannah Film Festival. And sitting alongside you in master classes with Molly Shannon or Brandon Maxwell, laughing at those side-splitting live tapings of The Buzz, our student Emmy award-winning show. Yes? Sharing in your acclaim at Open Studio Night at Alexander Hall and seeing your senior collections slay the runway and throughout SCAD Fashion Weekend, right? And I well recall the tutorial I received from several of you about the nuances of humans versus zombies. I've been here with you every step of the way, and I can say with absolute certainty, all of you are career ready. And your readiness will only brighten. Just look to our 98% employment rate as a beacon. SCAD's Office of Career and Alumni Success is called that for a reason, Career and Alumni Success. Our beloved cast is here to help you own the professional landscape long into your alumni days. So throughout the year, we hear from top employers all over the globe looking for SCAD talent, looking for bees on the rise. Just ask the elite cadre of alumni you're about to join. at Disney and Pixar, Anthropologie and Under Armour, Gensler and Perkins and Will. The list goes on and on. It's a SCAD world. So in a year, 5 years, 10 years, when you're looking for a new job in a new city, or you're ready for that next promotion, just check in with Cass or call me, text me. And don't just call, but come home to the Hive. Return here to Savannah or to Atlanta or to Lacoste for SCAD Alumni Atelier, endowed specifically to enrich the artistic endeavors of distinguished SCAD graduates. Travel to any SCAD location as part of our Alumni Mentor Program. I'm sure many of you benefited from alumni mentors within your majors. Guess what? Now you can be one too. You can illuminate creative disciplines and careers for a new generation of SCAD students. We want you to always feel what it means to be a bee. So bees and light. I have a beekeeping secret for you. Bees can see beyond the spectrum of light visible to others. This unique ability leads them to the brightest flowers with the sweetest nectar. And the same is true of you. Your vision, your ingenuity, your pursuit of the very best, that's what makes you a SCAD bee. And that's what you bring to the world. And once a bee, always a bee.
Of excellence which is drawn from the muses and each continent, unique, united, masterpiece in motion.
Many are one who converge through love of heart, the hand, and certainly the heart.
My name is Jamie Barker, and I am a SCAD alumna, here to tell you that no, these outfits, that they don't come with wands. I thought, but it doesn't happen. I'm actually here to assure you of a truth, which is even cooler than a wand. You are ready to step into an enchanted world where you will be excited for Mondays. Yes, you will wake up on Monday excited to go to work in a career you love, where every day, yes, where every day feels like #Sunday Fun Day. It's true. I graduated in 2010 with a Bachelor of Fine Arts in Fashion. Yes, thank you. I moved to New York and got my first job where I gained a full understanding of swimwear manufacturing. During this time, I realized there was something missing. The world needed swimsuits that were both fashion forward and made for movement. This did not exist. until my best friend and I created Flagpole. In business now for 4 years with over 25 retailers worldwide, including Saks, Barney's, and Net-a-Porter. Thank you. So I can trace this success all the way back to the day I was at graduation, like you, anxious to grab your diploma and just get to work. You all have the same drive and determination. I was here just 2 weeks ago for the senior fashion show, and I was blown away by the level of talent and execution I saw in each senior's collection. And if that was any indication from what to expect from every major, then the world needs to buckle up, because you are going to drive the futures of your industries, you guys. Okay, graduates, I want to leave you with some helpful tips I gained throughout my time at SCAD and how they apply now to running my own company. Tip number 1, work as hard as you need to right now. You probably didn't realize it, but from that first Drawing 1 project you were assigned, you guys remember that, you all became experts at time management. With all the work you do, SCAD forces you to think clearly and efficiently to troubleshoot any obstacles that come your way. So by the time senior year rolls around, you know how to manage any work you're given. This past summer, I had the honor of collaborating with Oscar de la Renta. We had only 3 weeks to launch a limited edition collection before September fashion show, while also working on Flagpole's New York Fashion Week presentation at the same time. To my team, this collaboration would come to be known as senior year all over again. We missed some sleep, but we knew how to prioritize and make pieces that got raves from In Style to Refinery 29. Tip number 2, listen to your intuition. You made it this far because you knew what was right and responsible when you were prepared for classes and you worked on your projects. The decision you made, guys, to not go to El Rocco, the Rail, or the Social Club, they were the right ones, believe me. This keen intuition came into play as my first job offers came in. I chose a bit of an unexpected route, working for a fashion startup. I'm not gonna lie, the wages were slimmer than I would have liked for that first position, but with that job choice, I made all of my factory and vendor connections that I still use today. The intuition to take that opportunity is the reason why I was able to start my own company just 2 years after graduating. And finally, tip number 3, be confident. Be confident. Right now, you should all be excited for the future and filled with fiery confidence and passion to succeed. Sure, you never know what may come your way, but you guys, you're prepared. After starting my own company, our very first sales meeting was with Barney's. No pressure, no pressure. We dove in to convince them that they needed swimwear with a no-name company with prices rivaling some of their most well-known brands. And guess what? They said, we'll call you. And they did. Barney's became the first store to pick up our line. SCAD prepares you to use your hard work to take risks with confidence. Even though you're leaving the SCAD hive, there are so many ways to stay in touch. You might be invited to participate in orientation, be a juror for the senior fashion show, or even speak at commencement. I can say this, you will always be a part of the SCAD family, no matter where you are in the world. Congratulations, class of 2017, and congrats to all the family and friends who helped get you here. So today it is also my honor to introduce our outstanding graduates, the Salutatorian, the Valedictorian, and the Alexis Laureate. Were chosen to represent SCAD Savannah class of 2017 because of their academic and creative achievements, their tenacity and determination to excel, and their special contributions to the university and their communities. Woo! Yes. Yes. While every SCAD graduate has a unique story, these 3 honorees earning degrees in equestrian studies, yes, advertising, and motion media design respectfully embody the very soul of SCAD. We now recognize the 2017 Salutatorian, Kiran Paulsen, who delivered illuminating remarks at lunch yesterday, attended by the trustees of SCAD professors and the families of our outstanding graduates. In recognition of your exceptional achievements, we congratulate you on being named Salutatorian of the SCAD Savannah class of 2017.
Good morning. My name is Albie Whitaker, and I'm the chair of the SCAD Board of Trustees. At this time, we recognize the valedictorian of the SCAD Savannah class of 2017, Fatin Al-Mukhtar. Will you please come forward? In recognition of your exceptional achievements, we congratulate you on being named the valedictorian of the SCAD Savannah class of 2017.
Hello. I'm Fatin Al-Mukhtar, SCAD valedictorian and BFA graduate in advertising. This past December, I stood with 5 SCAD teammates in YouTube's San Bruno office. We are about to present our CLC project to the company's vice president in a room packed with YouTube and Google employees. Our lead client, Mike Buzzard, who's also here with us today, introduced us, and we launched into our presentation. We were in the midst of a designer's dream. The CLC project required forethought and research as we developed a plan for YouTube's app 2 years down the line. They gave us tools and a testing platform, and we gave them ideas designed to anticipate their user needs. In that project, I realized we were creating the future in the present moment. I was overcome with the same sensation I had when I first came to SCAD. On an unexpected trip to Savannah with my mom, I saw a new piece of my future. It was senior year of high school, and SCAD was the first college that I had ever visited. We toured buildings with a student admissions representative and dropped by classrooms full of students so focused, they hardly even noticed we were there. Before our flight home, my mother and I stopped for tea at the Griffin. And my mother, who is also an interior designer and knows a thing or two about creative energy, said to me, "Faten, you will make so much work here." She probably said the same thing to my younger sister, Jemana, who is now an interior design student here at SCAD, and an ideal roommate. When we were girls, we often competed over what type of designers we would become. Fashion designers, interior designers. We imagined it all. I never thought that we would both end up together at the same university. It is a comfort to know a piece of home is here with me. As a designer, I always follow my instincts, and I had a gut feeling that my mother was right. I knew this was a place where I could dive in and explore new interests and challenges to push my limits and become my best self. I decided this is where I need to be. When I arrived home, I immediately submitted my application. At SCAD, I found a caring community where my work was encouraged by thoughtful critique within a positive environment. One of my favorite memories is the quarter I spent in Lacoste, where the valley spreads wide around Maison Basse and the time given to explore and be present is endless. I remember driving through the hills and seeing the small village reveal itself around the bend. It recalled my feeling when I first traveled from my home in Bahrain to Montezuma, New Mexico for high school. Maison Basse felt familiar. I grew friendships and relationships with fellow designers that I know will last a lifetime. On the daily hike to class or the longer trek to Bagneux, we would teach each other about our cultures. On our Friday excursions to Lyon and Avignon, we would learn about the bounties of French cuisine. In between our classes and our trips, we'd roam around centuries-old castles and countryside main streets. Every day, I found new ideas and stepped into unfamiliar environments. Our creative efforts in Lacoste culminated in a 48-hour design challenge I undertook with 5 brilliant classmates. It was my first CLC project and the first of many it would turn out. Fueled with the exhilaration of intense work, we came to understand each other's strengths and bond as a team. I learned to present my best and to work harder to improve every single time. That constant striving propelled me to where I stand today, with all of you who share similar journeys of change and creation during our time at SCAD. I want to thank my parents for being my #1 supporters, my friends and peers for constantly challenging me, and the advertising faculty for their continued guidance and mentorship. Thanks to them and SCAD, I'll be launching my career as an art director and creative technologist at Anomaly, recently named 2017's Agency of the Year by Ad Age. That designer's dream I have felt all my life has finally become a reality. At SCAD, we understand that design transcends creativity to shape society right now and far into the future. The world needs our outside-the-box thinking to spark change. Designers need to be brave and inquisitive to ask pertinent questions. Where will new technology lead us? How can we anticipate and meet new needs? We're always thinking about and dreaming of and planning for the future that happens all around us. Remember to look inside yourselves to discover and realize your dreams, because the future we all share starts with you. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Darrell Naylor Johnson. I'm the Senior Director of Library Services here at SCAD. It is now my pleasure to recognize Wendy Eduarte as the Excelsior Laureate of the SCAD Savannah Class of 2017, a title that means she has exceeded even the highest expectations for a graduate student at SCAD. Wendy, please come forward. In recognition of your exceptional achievements, we congratulate you on being named Excelsior Laureate of the SCAD Savannah Class of 2017.
Good morning, class of 2017. I'm Wendy Duarte, SCAD Excelsior Laureate and MA graduate in motion design. Today we celebrate our hard work, long days overflowing with research and study, long evenings devoting to creating, always pursuing excellence. That's part of the bond that we share now, and it's essential. Our discipline has driven us to achieve our greatest aspirations, and it will continue to power our greatest accomplishments yet to come. That success began with our very first day here at SCAD. My desire to pursue my dream pushed me beyond my comfort zone. Though nervous at first, this quickly became my home. I still remember my admissions advisor, Alexandra Jones-Torres. She was a great support through this process. Her voice was instantly familiar and encouraging. Through my interactions with her, my confidence grew. I knew I made the right choice. In my program, I worked side by side with a very special group. The SCAD motion media design community surpassed all of my expectations. My fellow students freely shared their talents and knowledge with me, and the faculty are the most supportive and devoted group of educators I have ever encountered. It is through their support that I'm standing here today. In the motion media design program, we have a student club called Mommy Love. The name fits well because of our shared passion for what we do. Each year, the Mommy Love Clubs works tirelessly to organize our student-led motion design conference, Commotion, attracting top companies to SCAD. After the weekend's final event this winter, as I headed to lunch, a recruiter that was visiting grabbed my arm. "Are you Wendy?" she asked me. "I really want to talk to you. We love your work." That brief interaction eventually led me to the Mill in New York. Following a very short internship, I'm proud to say that I'm now a member of their world-renowned design team, alongside fellow SCAD alumni from the Mommy Love Club too. During one of my first days at the Mill, while sketching for a project, a memory came rushing back to me. A moment from when I was a girl in Costa Rica. I recalled watching my sister draw in exquisite details characters and worlds from her imagination, and I always wondered, how does she do it? It seemed like raw, unborn talent, one I did not have. Yet here I am, a designer focused on illustration at the Mill, graduating from the world's most highly regarded university for motion media design. Again, how did this happen? Since childhood, I've dreamed of walking across the stage at commencement. I pictured myself in flowing black robes, celebrating the culmination of years of hard work, and marching away with my master's degree. Before I found SCAD, that dream seemed distant. After college, I was working in Costa Rica, saving money for graduate school. When I learned that SCAD will be holding an information session, I saw my chance. There was one small problem. The session was in Panama. Actually, there was a second bigger problem: my boss wouldn't let me go. But sometimes dreams call for a leap of faith, so I quit my job, and with the help of my brother, I bought a bus ticket. After 12 hours along winding mountain roads and just one hamburger to quell our hunger, we reached Panama. The SCAD reps showed me amazing examples of student work and shared about some of the signature events and resources this university provides. They describe how companies compete for SCAD graduates. A few hours later, I was on that bus back to Costa Rica, my mind abuzz with visions of my arrival at SCAD, and of this day, graduation, a day that I've dreamed of for so long. Standing here, I can't help but feel thankful. Thankful to my parents who give me constant love and encouragement, and most importantly, allow me to fulfill this dream. Thankful to my brother who sat beside me on that bus to Panama and has always encouraged and influenced my artistic pursuits. This is all thanks to you, William. You were my biggest teacher. To my sister, who wows me with her art and never-ending love and support. Both of them have always been my biggest role models. I'm thankful for Matt, Gretel, and David, who have been my tiny family for these 2 years. And to my professors and my peers, who pushed me to my limits and proved that whether we came here with raw talent or an unrefined desire to create, with hard work, a dream, and a degree, all is now within reach. And to everyone who made an impact in my life here, with every joke, every smile, every hug, every long night, and some sunrises at Monty, you believe in me, and you have made me a better person, and now I share my joy with you. Thank you so much.
Hello, I'm John Paul Rowan, Vice President for SCAD Savannah. Today we honor Mike Buzzard with the university's highest accolade. A visionary web developer and design leader at Google, Mike's impressive career includes founding Cuban Council, an agency with clients such as Facebook, Apple, and NASA. An extremely talented creative mind, Mike helps innovate and shape the world we experience. In 2014, Mike and Google teamed up with SCAD to cultivate designers poised to create better digital experiences. The result combines SCAD's world-class expertise in product development, visual design, and interactive experiences into a revolutionary academic program, SCAD's User Experience Design Program, the first program of its kind in the world. That marked the beginning of a partnership between SCAD and Mike. The following year, he stepped into a student-led boardroom as part of a SCAD Collaborative Learning Center project where students conceptualized smartphone applications and services utilizing Google's vast array of data. This past fall, SCAD welcomed Mike back to the university where his expertise guided students as they research and develop concepts for how to better engage YouTube users. Mike is known to us as a mentor, a person who gives thoughtful portfolio reviews and helps SCAD students discover their career paths. His insights led students as they transform their passions into creative momentum, becoming subject matter experts in an emerging user-driven landscape. To put it simply, Mike helps fuel the successes and innovation of our SCAD Bees as students and as alumni. Mike, will you please come forward? On behalf of the Savannah College of Art and Design, it is my great pleasure to confer upon you the Honorary Doctorate of Humane Letters.
Hello, everyone. As John Paul mentioned, I'm Mike Buzzard, and I work at a relatively young company out west called Google. I'd like to tell you a little about how all this happened. If I'd taken a more conventional path, I might have graduated college 20 years ago. Instead, when I was 17, I dropped out of high school, moved out of my mom's house to try things my way. I knew I needed to find something that would feed my creative interests and technical curiosities, but I had no idea what that might be. It wasn't until I was 21 that I began to learn the concepts and tools of my craft. A friend of mine had introduced me to the web, and the initial draw was design. My skills were limited, so I began learning how to code, and immediately I was hooked. I felt like I'd finally found an outlet to express my creativity, and suddenly the possibilities were endless. Over the next few years, I continued to build and learn, carving out new roles for myself and refining my process until a job offer with a startup lured me to San Francisco at the age of 25. I wasn't looking for that sort of life change, but at the time, San Francisco was the center of the universe for people who were building digital experiences, and I didn't want to look back 20 years down the road wondering, what if? For the next several months, I spent most of my free time working on community projects and freelance contracts until I got so busy that I decided to quit my day job. The following year, I learned the value of partnerships while working closely with a pair of designers whose skills perfectly complemented my own. Realizing that we'd stumbled onto something special, we decided to start a company together. And over the next few months, we transitioned our freelance hustles into something more of a fledgling business. During the years that followed, we expanded offices to New York and Portland, while growing our client base to include record labels, startups, tech corporations, fashion brands, musicians, television networks, film directors and actors, athletes, even NASA. We worked with pioneers of industry and longtime personal heroes. The surprises just kept coming. Then one day in the spring of 2005, we were contacted by Sean Parker and Mark Zuckerberg. Mark wasn't very familiar with design back then, but Sean knew that as a fast-growing college social network known as the Facebook was preparing for a public Facebook launch, they'd need a more professional brand. Now, at that time, there was a lot of skepticism around startups based on the earlier dot-com collapse in Silicon Valley. So when Sean asked us if we'd consider being paid in stock to produce the logo, we confidently declined. At that point, we had just produced what would soon become one of the world's most recognized logos, a small project that would generate a steady flow of identity and branding work, which continues even to this day. Even more impressive is that these requests keep coming in, even now, 5 years after our company was acquired by Google. My point here is that if you focus on doing great work and pushing yourself to grow, and if you partner with others to make things far greater than you might make by yourself, you are certain to create all kinds of opportunities. And while you may not capitalize on all of those opportunities, that's okay. What's important is that you create them. Looking back on my own path has helped steer the work I've done with SCAD. It's important to me that students understand how to apply their training of modern tools, concepts, and processes in ways that allow them to create their own opportunities, their own success stories, and a few character-building moments. Less than 2 years ago, we launched the UX design program, and its growth has been astonishing. I am so proud of the work that we have done together, and I am so excited for the students who have chosen this path. At the same time, I'm extremely humbled and honored to have worked with so many passionate and dedicated people to make this happen. Those whose work inspires and motivates me every day, people such as President Wallace, John Paul Rowan, and Josh Lind, wherever you are, sir, and everyone else who's contributed to making this program such a success. To wrap up, I'd like to say a few words to my mom. Hey, Mom. Who, along with my wife and kids, hey, Dara, hey, Ben, hey, Sam, in-laws, siblings, and stepfather are all here today. Mom, I guess it's about 20 years later than expected, but as you know, I've always done things in my own time and in my own way. I realize it's a bit early for your birthday and a bit late for Mother's Day, but this award, this recognition, this honor is dedicated to you. Thank you all. Thank you all, and congratulations to the SCAD 2017 graduates. This morning, I'm also here to introduce a true creative genius. For nearly 40 years, actor, director, and producer John Malkovich has illuminated more than 100 plays, films, and operas with the sincerity and versatility of his work. From his Obie Award-winning performances in True West to his Academy Award-nominated roles in Places in the Heart and In the Line of Fire, John is one of the all-time greats. We see his genius not only in film, but in fashion. From studying costume design in college to walking the runway for Comme des Garçons, from the textiles he's designed for Liberty of London to the launch of his own clothing labels, John is a fashion force. His most recent menswear collection, an eclectic original line of suits, sweaters, and silk scarves, is uniquely cosmopolitan, bold, and intelligent, just like his performances. It's John's work in fashion that brought him to SCAD 4 years ago. He visited with SCAD fashion students in Lumiere, just down the road from SCAD Lacoste. There, the group discussed international marketplace, the art of clothing design, and the necessity of self-expression. John certainly knows something about being true to one's vision and oneself. Across his career, pivoting from Broadway to Hollywood and from studio to runway, he is, in every sense, a consummate artist. Let's take a look.
Don't you know that every perfect life would mean the end of art?
Cut! Make it bigger, John, come on!
Sometimes if you're known for one thing, then it's hard for people to suppose. I don't really care how they take me. They can take me as I am or not at all.
Dave! Why am I trying to become what I don't want to be? What am I doing when all that I want is out there waiting for me the minute I say I know who I am?
Will merely confine myself to remarking that a no will be regarded as a declaration of war.
Do you have any idea how long it took me to paint like this? 25 years.
Right this way, Mr. Malkovich. Compliments of the house. It's my livelihood, do you understand?
It's my head, Schwartz. It's my head!
I'm always a figure in someone else's dream. I'd really rather sometimes make my own figures and make my own dreams. 76. I never made my life about what other people thought of me or what I should do or what I shouldn't do.
Please join me in honoring the 2017 SCAD Commencement Speaker, the illustrious John Malkovich. John, will you please come forward? On behalf of the Savannah College of Art and Design, it is my great pleasure to confer upon you, in recognition of your life's work in the performing arts and fashion, the university's highest honor, the Honorary Doctorate of Humane Letters.
I'm so honored to be here. Just be off book for a second. It's incredible to watch this group on stage, so I can only imagine what the students are. They're such poise. Goodness. Congratulations. And just, Mike, congratulations to you. Thank you for that lovely introduction. I just would like to say one thing to your mother, since you mentioned her earlier. Apparently Mike took his own way. I want to say something, though. I think he should have taken that Facebook stock. You should have prevailed. So, hello, and thank you for inviting me to address the 2017 graduating class of Savannah College of Art and Design, and congratulations to the graduates. Today marks a completion of one phase of your lives, and as you move into a new phase of your lives, I hope that all the work and effort and experience that has gone into you receiving your diplomas today will serve you in good stead as you apply yourselves in your chosen fields in the years to come. My congratulations to the professors, instructors, and administrators. I trust you have a passion and an aptitude for educating young people, and may that ever be the case. I hope you realize your importance to this graduating class today. Simply put, and your importance to past and to future classes, because simply put, great educators change lives. Lastly, I would like to congratulate the parents who are here today. I can well imagine the emotions that you're feeling, the pride, the joy, the relief. I'm sure many of you made a great sacrifice to make this day possible, and I'm sure you'd do it again in an instant. I'd also like to acknowledge the importance of several people who have helped make this day possible. Paula Wallace, SCAD founder and president, the SCAD Board of Trustees, and John Paul Rowan, vice president for SCAD Savannah. Now, I'm not the first person I would think of to deliver a commencement address. I don't give advice as a rule. I'm not a comedian, nor a politician, nor a visionary businessman or inventor. I am acquainted with the Savannah College of Art and Design, as I've had a house in Lacoste, France for many years, where I've occasionally encountered students while walking in the village, where I must say I have never seen a single one of them handcuffed. At least not by the police. So to you parents who send your children to Lacoste, you can rest assured that if they happen to find themselves in any sort of difficulty over there, they are more than welcome to come down into the valley and knock on my door, and I'll be like, get out of here. This is like private property. I was once asked to participate in a conversation with SCAD students in fashion design in the neighboring megalopolis of Lumière, a conversation I was very happy to have. By the way, you've done an exemplary job of restoring the Maison Basse and the Grand Mas in the valley, and if the university ever feels that it needs another farm in the valley, please don't hesitate to make me an offer at 4 or 5 times over the market value. As some of you may know, I am an actor in both theater and film, a director principally in the theater, but occasionally in film, and a producer in films and theater. For the better part of the last 15 years, I've also worked as a fashion designer doing a men's line. This is my 3rd fashion company. The first was called Uncle Kimono, the second was called Techno Bohemian, and the third one, at the insistence of my new partners, carries my name. I've been asked to speak with you today about my experiences, and I hope in doing so you'll find something useful in my hopefully blessedly brief remarks. I wonder how many of you are nervous today, unsure of your next step, fearful of what tomorrow will bring, doubtful of your talents, uncertain of your preparedness, dubious about your prospects. When I was your age, I wasn't at all sure of the path I had chosen. I had decided to join with some kids I'd gone to college with and to move to Chicago and start a theater company. Part of me, perhaps the bigger part of me, was quite certain this effort would be doomed to fail. I suppose it's time for me to finally admit I was wrong, as over 40 years after its founding in 1976, Steppenwolf Theater continues to flourish. And I'm not, by the way, encouraging any of you to go out and start your own theater. Should you feel the urge, don't hesitate to contact me, and I can recommend a good psychiatrist and a treatment program. How did our theater survive? What is the secret? Why did we succeed? Luck, persistence, stubbornness, talent, confidence, training, insanity. Here's what I would posit. I believe the endeavor succeeded because we fell in love with our work, because we had a genuine respect for each other's talent and a genuine interest in watching that talent develop. The relationships we had forged and the education we had received at university laid the foundation for our endurance and eventually for our success. For those of you receiving your degrees today, my wish for you is that you find somewhere the same sense of community, the same singularity of purpose, the same sense of working towards a common goal, and the same forum for self-expression. I can't imagine what shape my life would have taken had I not met my colleagues at university. They were and remain the most important influences in my working life. Many years ago, I was acting in a film based on the novel The Sheltering Sky by Paul Bowles. At that time, Mr. Bowles was 70 years old or so, and he had lived in Morocco for 30 years by then. And one night at dinner, I asked him when he had realized that he wasn't returning to live in America, and he looked at me somewhat aghast and responded, "I'm still thinking about it." I suppose that I felt that way about being a professional actor until I was in my mid-30s or so. Probably it was not purely by chance that the first film I developed as a producer was called The Accidental Tourist. In some sense, the title seemed a metaphor for my career choice. One can never be sure if the path one has chosen is the best one, the one most suited to one's temperament and talents and dreams. The point I'm making is that it's normal to question yourselves. It's normal to be apprehensive at times. It's normal to question your goals, your path, and yes, even your aptitudes. You'll survive that self-examination and many self-examinations and be the stronger for it. I suppose all generations believe themselves to live in extraordinary times, times which present unique challenges and complexities. The time we are living in now is no different in that respect. Certainly the world has changed over the last 50 years at a dizzying pace, and it doesn't seem likely to slow down anytime soon. I hope you can deal with that pace and that you still have time to slow down, to tune out if need be, and to turn off when you choose to. Perhaps one of you sitting here today will design an app to separate real news from fake, though you might want to hurry up on that. We seem to have some need of it rather immediately. Of course, maybe it wouldn't matter, for as Paul Simon wrote in his song, The Boxer, a man hears what he wants to hear and disregards the rest. Perhaps we all here should hope it doesn't describe us. I'll take a brief moment now to address those graduates in the creative disciplines in which I've spent my working life. For theater and film students and writing students, here's what I've used to remind me of why I do what I do, but I think it could easily apply really to any artistic endeavor. In 1949, the novelist William Faulkner won the Nobel Prize for Literature, and at the banquet he gave a brief address about writing, partially in the hope of correcting the notion that he was a pessimistic writer. I carried it with me for years and eventually memorized it. I always thought of this speech as the ideal expression of the importance of great writing. In part, Faulkner said, "The young man or woman writing today has forgotten the problems of the human heart in conflict, which alone can make good writing, because that alone is worth writing about, worth the agony and the sweat. He must learn them again. He must teach himself that the basest of all things is to be afraid, and teaching himself that, forget it forever, leaving no room in his workshop for anything but the old verities and truths of the heart, the old universal truths lacking which any story is ephemeral and doomed. Love and honor and pity and pride and compassion and sacrifice. Until he does so, he labors under a curse. He writes, not of love, but of lust, of defeats in which nobody loses anything of value, of victories without hope, and worst of all, without pity or compassion. His griefs grieve on no universal bones, leaving no scars. He writes not of the heart, but of the glands. The writing, the storytelling is the most important element, always. Nothing else is even close. I compare the theater to surfing. At a certain time, you paddle out on your board and you wait for a wave. But you, the actor, are not the wave. The wave is caused by the collision between the material and the public. Your job is to ride the wave. Sometimes you ride it to the shore, sometimes you fall off in good material or great material, as Faulkner wrote and described so eloquently. There will always be a wave. Trust that, wait for it, ride it when it comes. Work hard, be prepared, challenge yourselves, extend your range, be a valued collaborator. Take and learn from criticism. Try and make what you do better every time you do it. And yes, learn to deal with failure. I wouldn't say accept it, but deal with it. And understand it will happen. And though failure may be your enemy, it may feel at times like your constant companion, but it can also be your teacher. I'm very curious to see what will become of the world of cinema. When I started doing movies over 30 years ago, the studio system were king. If you were fortunate enough to become an actor or director of note, it was very likely that you received a development deal at a studio. You were given an office at Warner Brothers or Columbia or Paramount or United Artists. You hired a secretary of your choice and a development person or two, and the studio paid your expenses and wrote the checks for the options on the books you wanted to adapt or the magazine articles you hoped to turn into a movie script or the original ideas you wanted to explore. They paid to hire a screenwriter and funded the various drafts of the script and eventually funded the film itself if they felt it had some chance for commercial success. That system no longer exists. It has been more or less obliterated in 20 short years. I noticed the other day a headline which stated that the past Memorial Day was the worst Memorial Day weekend box office in 19 years. So I wonder what the business will be or not be in 5 years or 10. Will there be a new model for distribution, for financing? Will piracy be halted? Will technology make films quicker to shoot, less expensive, less cumbersome, less difficult to produce? When I was your age, if one wanted to see a film, you had to go to a cinema. It was nothing to think of driving 100 miles to see a film. Then came VHS tape, then DVD, then on-demand, live streaming, etc. It's not at all clear to me that movie theaters will even exist in 10 years. At the mall where we go to the grocery store, there is a Cineplex. If there is a Star Wars movie of some sort playing, the parking lot is full. If there isn't, it's kind of empty these days. Tastes change, viewing habits change, delivery systems change. 6 or 7 years ago, I was at a premiere in Los Angeles of a film I acted in called Red. And the morning after the premiere, I flew to China for a fashion event. At the store in Shanghai where the event was held, a young woman came up to me and she told me that her husband had really liked the film, Red. And as the premiere had only been held the night before in Los Angeles, which was actually a week before the film was going to be released. So I assumed her husband must have been at the showing in Hollywood, and I asked her, oh, does your husband live in Los Angeles, or was he just working there or visiting? She looked at me like I was absolutely clueless, and she said, oh no, he saw it on the web. So it would appear there are some kinks to work out in that business model. So get to it. Good luck with that. I, for one, am eager to see what your generation invents, reinvents, explores, discovers, and rediscovers. I would be remiss if I didn't speak for a brief moment to the fashion students here today. You're going into, of course, a tough field at a tough time, but a beautiful field as well. In 2009, I traveled from where my line was headquartered at that time, Techno Bohemian, in Prato, Italy, to New York City, where I was meant to show it to the buyer from Barney's and from Bergdorf's, and I think maybe opening ceremony, and I don't remember who else. However, my entire collection was confiscated at JFK because I made the mistake of answering the customs declaration form question, are you carrying samples, in the affirmative. Took me a few days to get it out of customs, and therefore caused me to cancel all my buyer's appointments, so basically a catastrophe. I know I said earlier I don't give advice, but if I did, I would say this. When you fill out that little custom form, and it asks you if you're carrying samples on the flight, just say no, as Nancy Reagan so helpfully suggested all those years ago. Nevertheless, once I get my line out of customs, a few people did wander by to see it, and some stores and others who worked in the media end of fashion as well. One young man called Matt Tiernauer was one of the visitors. He had directed a beautiful film I had seen the year before, a documentary about the fashion designer Valentino, which can tell you more than I ever would dare to about the fashion world. So if you haven't seen it, you should, certainly. At any rate, he went through my collection for a long while, and then he walked over to me, and after complimenting me on the collection, he said, may I make one observation? And I said, yes, of course. And he said, I see you've managed to find a business actually more toxic than the movie business. And I said, gee, Matt, I'd like to think so. Otherwise, what would be the point of it? So toxicity aside, I must say in seriousness that to have an opportunity to live a creative life, to have even the possibility of an opportunity to live a creative life is a precious gift. And yes, that gift may come at a price, because there is always a price for doing what we want, but the rewards, in my experience, far outweigh the obstacles. So, graduates, congratulations. I leave you with that one. You'll find your way. I did, and have more or less lived to tell the tale. And I sincerely doubt I was half as clever or talented or prepared as you are today. I wish you my best. Godspeed.
Many thanks to John Malkovich, our dear friend Mike Buzzard, and all of our speakers for making this commencement such a special occasion. Now for the conferment of degrees. Would all Master of Architecture candidates please stand? As president of SCAD, before the Board of Trustees, it is my pleasure to confer upon you the degree of Master of Architecture. You may be seated. Would all Master of Urban Design candidates please stand? Design the world. As president of SCAD, before the Board of Trustees, it is my pleasure to confer upon you the degree of Master of Urban Design. You may be seated. Would all Master of Fine Arts candidates please stand? As president of SCAD, before the Board of Trustees, it is my pleasure to confer upon you the degree of Master of Fine Arts. You may be seated. Would all Master of Arts candidates please stand? As president of SCAD, before the Board of Trustees, it is my pleasure to confer upon you the degree of Master of Arts. You may be seated. Would all Bachelor of Fine Arts candidates please stand? As president of SCAD, before the Board of Trustees, it is my pleasure to confer upon you the degree of Bachelor of Fine Arts. You may be seated. Would all Bachelor of Arts candidates please stand? Bachelor of Arts. As president of SCAD, before the Board of Trustees, it is my pleasure to confer upon you the degree of Bachelor of Arts. You may be seated. All right, would all graduates please stand? Woo! You may now turn your tassels. Congratulations, SCAD class of 2017. Please remain seated during the recession of the trustees, administrators, faculty, and graduates. You know, bees really are the perfect symbol for all of you, our SCAD bees, and you're going to receive a gift as you depart that is a symbol of your continuing growth. Before you go, graduates, we have one final message from all your friends at SCAD.
Thank you, SCAD, for giving me the best years of my life.
Because of SCAD, I have the opportunity to be an amazing graphic designer.
Because of SCAD, we won an Emmy.
因为我们教授的支持，我们的设计上了学校的时装秀。谢谢。
Because of SCAD, I can reach for the stars.
به خاطر SCAD من میتونم رویام به عنوان کارآفرین دنبال کنم.
After SCAD, I plan to move to San Francisco to work for Pixar Animation Studio.
多謝媽咪、爹哋嘅支持，我準備去 coach 工作。
Because of SCAD, I'm headed to Los Angeles to work for Bug.
New York City to work for The Mill.
Seattle to work for Google.
Junior designer at Porsche Cars North America.
Because of SCAD, we're going to Sony.
IBM.
Intuit.
VR Royale.
Ubisoft.
Loyal Casper.
Blue Sky Studio.
Blur Studio.
McCann.
3D animator. Character animator.
Royal Casper.
Because of SCAD, I found my dream job.
You guys just graduated. Congratulations.
Thumbs up.
Go out there. Be amazing.
No se les olvide que a pesar de todos los obstáculos que se van a encontrar, ustedes tienen que seguir adelante con sus sueños.
Just know your voice and stick with it. Make bold choices. It's better to just go for it.
And believe. You absolutely have to believe more than anyone else.
Congratulations, class of 2017. You made it. Go out into the world and make the world a better place.
I look forward to working with some of you, and more importantly, I look forward to working for some of you. So please call me.
Me too.
Go out there and make us proud.
Thank you, SCAD.
どうもありがとう。
祝所有2017毕业生前程似锦。
Congratulations, SCAD Class of 2017. Especially you, Nick Schaefer.
Remember that you will always be a part of the SCAD family.
SCAD es tu familia.
Want to be?
Always